We are absolutely drowning in data. It's everywhere, right? Every report, every dashboard, every single news headline. But here's the thing. Raw numbers on a screen are just, well, they're just numbers. The real magic happens when we translate that data into a story, a clear and compelling narrative. It's not just about what the data says, but how we say it. So let's dive in and figure out how to make our data speak with some real impact. I mean, just look at this. On the left, you've got expenses went up. Okay, sure, it's true, but it's lazy. It tells us basically nothing. Now look at the right. Operating expenses increased gradually while administrative costs rose sharply. Now that's a story. You've got detail, you've got contrast, you've got precision. This is the difference between just spitting out data and actually explaining it. So how do we get from weak to strong? Well, it all starts with picking the right words. All right, so the first and honestly the most powerful tool in your entire toolkit is the verb. Think of verbs as the engine of your description. They're the action words that tell us not just that something changed, but how it changed. Verbs give our data life. They give it movement. Now, when a number goes up, what's our first instinct? We say it increased. And look, that's fine, but it's kind of the vanilla ice cream of data vocabulary. We can do so much better. The right verb can instantly paint a vivid picture of a trend's character and, its speed. Just look at the variety and the intensity here. To climb suggests a pretty steady, consistent upward movement. But to soar or rocket, whoa, that implies a super dramatic, steep ascent. A surge is this sudden, powerful push, and a jump or leap suggests a really abrupt, significant change. Choosing the right one is absolutely crucial. And of course, the exact same principle applies when trends are heading in the other direction. Decrease works, it's functional, but it really doesn't capture the full story. Was it a gentle slide or, a catastrophic freefall? Let's build out our vocabulary for that too. Again, just feel the nuance here. A dip is small, maybe even a temporary little fall. To decline feels more gradual, more sustained. But when you use a word like plummet or plunge, you're signaling a rapid, steep, and frankly often alarming fall. A slump feels kind of heavy and sluggish. You can see how a single word choice changes the entire tone of your analysis. So, we've picked a powerful verb. Awesome. But we can add yet another layer of precision. This is where modifiers, we're talking adjectives, and adverbs come into play. Think of them like the intensity dial on our description. They let us fine-tune the story we're telling. An adverb basically partners up with your verb to answer the all-important question, how? How did it rise? How fast did it fall? This is the little detail that takes our description from just good to truly great. Let's see how this builds a more complete picture. You can think of this table as your go-to cheat sheet for intensity. Over on the left, you've got words for small, gentle changes, slightly, gradually. Right in the middle, you have your more noticeable shifts, significantly, considerably. And then on the right, for the big, fast movements, you've got sharply, dramatically. The key is combining these with our verbs. A stock can rise gradually or rise sharply, and those are two very, very different stories. And here it is in action. Our profit margin grew significantly. The verb grew tells us the direction. The adverb significantly tells us the magnitude. Put them together and you get a professional, precise, and really confident statement. This is exactly how you communicate data effectively. But hey, what about when the data isn't just going straight up or down? I mean, let's be real. Trends can be flat or they can be volatile and totally unpredictable. We need a specific vocabulary for these situations too. So let's explore the language of stability and fluctuation. So on the left, we've got words for when things are just holding firm. If a number stops changing after moving around, it can level off or plateau. If it pretty much stays the same the whole time, it remains steady. Then on the right, we have the language for volatility. To fluctuate or vary implies this irregular up and down movement. Words like oscillate or seesaw paint an even more vivid picture of data just swinging back and forth. Okay, so we've learned the words, the verbs, the adverbs, the language for stability. But why does any of this really matter? Because what we're doing here is not just describing data points on a chart. We are crafting a story. And stories are how we make information stick in people's brains. This quote from the cognitive psychologist Jerome Bruner, it says it all. 22 times. That is huge. When we use precise, vivid language, we're literally transforming abstract numbers into a narrative. We're tapping into emotion and context, and that makes the information not just easier to understand, but dramatically more memorable. That is the real power of data storytelling. So, the next time you're looking at a chart or a spreadsheet, don't just see the numbers. Try to see the narrative. See the climbs, the plunges, the plateaus, and the fluctuations. Your data is telling a story. The only question left is, are you using the right language to translate it?